In my 7th year with my boyfriend, I stumbled across a post he made on social media. He was asking for advice on how to dump me without facing any backlash. I stood in the snow, looking up at the window of his apartment. Then I called him. His voice came through the phone, impatient. "I already told you, I'm in a meeting." I cut him off, my voice calm. "Billy, let's break up." I had just gotten off the plane when I saw Billy's post. Shanghai to Vancouver. There were no direct flights over the holidays, so I had a layover in Hong Kong. The whole trip took 29 hours. I only came because Billy had been complaining on the phone the day before. He said he had a fever but still had to rush to finish a presentation, with no time to rest for the holidays. He was coughing so hard it sounded like his lungs were about to give out. I couldn't stop worrying, so I booked a flight right away to come see him. The cab ride from the Vancouver airport to Billy's apartment takes an hour. I spent that entire hour reading his post over and over again. I was trying to find even a hint of reluctance, a trace of love. There was nothing. He said it was all a calculated move. He said he pursued me because he needed my money and my connections. Now that he's made it, he's met a new girl from a good family. So he wants to get his life back on track. He wrote that the thought of having spent the last 7 years sleeping with a man made him sick. But for fame and fortune, he didn't regret it. His only problem now was how to break up with me peacefully, without me retaliating. The hand holding my phone was shaking. I'm sure my face was pale. When I got out of the cab, the driver asked if I wanted him to take me to a hospital instead. I don't know how I managed to walk to the front of Billy's apartment building. 3 in the afternoon in Vancouver. The sky was a heavy, gloomy gray, and snowflakes were drifting down. I sat on a bench outside the building, staring into space for a while. Then I took out my phone and called Billy. He immediately declined the call. A second later, I got a text from him. "Busy. Can't talk." I don't know when it started, but Billy's replies to me were always some version of "I'm busy." I could barely remember the 18-year-old version of him, the one who always had time for me. I opened our message history and scrolled all the way back to the beginning. Back then, Billy loved talking to me. Scrolling through, I could see most of the messages were from him. He'd tell me about the street food he tried, a song he heard that day, a cat he saw in the park at night, and then he'd just be waiting to see me. I remember one time I was on a business trip for a month, with a 5-hour layover in Shanghai on one of the days. When Billy found out, he took the subway for an hour and a half from the other side of the city just to get to the airport. He sat with me in the airport lounge for 3 hours, then took the hour-and-a-half subway ride back. He had a final exam the next day. I told him not to go through all the trouble. He cornered me, kissing me as he whispered fiercely, "No way. I haven't seen you in 24 days. That's like 72 seasons have passed. It's been too long. I was afraid you'd forget me." Billy was so passionate back then. Who would have thought that kind of fire could ever turn cold? The snow was coming down harder now. I stared up at the lit window of his apartment. I decided to call him one more time, but before I could even dial, I saw him. He was in his loungewear, coming downstairs to meet someone. I stood up without thinking, but then I saw a girl in a black puffer jacket run toward him. Billy took her hands, rubbing them between his own to warm them up, then pulled her into a hug and led her inside. Snow collected on my shoulders. My hands trembled as I pulled out a cigarette and lit it. As the nicotine hit my throat, I suddenly remembered. 3 years ago, on a winter day just like this, Billy had held me in his arms just like that. That was the year my grandmother passed away. My parents had divorced and started new families, so my grandmother had raised me. The day she was buried, my parents, aunts, and uncles all seemed relieved. For them, a burden had been lifted. Only I stood there in the heavy snow, in front of her grave. The funeral feast was loud and boisterous, the music jarringly cheerful. The world was so crowded, but I just felt utterly alone, adrift in a vast emptiness. I don't know how long I stood there, until a warm embrace shielded me from the wind and snow. I heard Billy's voice in my ear. He said, "You still have me." The tears I'd been holding back finally broke free. Back then, I believed a young man's embrace was a sign of a true heart. Only now did I understand that, in this story, I was the only one who ever took it seriously. After 3 cigarettes, I finally managed to pull myself together. I'm 5 years older than Billy. When you're with a younger boyfriend, you always try to put on a brave face. I tried to be the person who could fix anything. I got used to solving his problems, used to being the one he relied on, used to carrying all the burdens by myself. So, if the breakup was causing him so much trouble, then I would be the one to solve this problem for him. This was the last kindness I could offer the man I loved. I took out my phone and dialed for the 3rd time. Billy finally picked up, his tone dripping with impatience. I already told you I'm in a team meeting. I cut him off, my voice gentle. Billy, let's break up. Billy paused, then let out a cold laugh. Chris, since when did you start playing these kinds of games? The whole cry and threaten to leave routine? I don't know what's gotten into you today, but I'm busy. I'm really not in the mood to coddle you. My voice was shaking from the cold. Billy, this is a decision I've thought long and hard about. From now on, you're free. Billy was silent for a moment, then his voice rose. Fine. You're the one who said it. Don't you regret it? I thought he would at least try to ask me to stay. I sighed, defeated. Okay. The things you left at my place. Before I could finish, he hung up. I clutched my phone and gave a bitter smile. He couldn't even stand to listen to one more word from me. We still had some assets to divide, but whatever. I'll have my lawyer contact him later. I'll make sure he gets his fair share. I glanced at my watch. I had been waiting downstairs for 4 hours. The snow was starting to let up. I figured it was time for me to go. I bought a ticket and flew straight back to Shanghai. Another 24 hours. I started running a fever during the flight. When the plane landed, my vision went black, and I collapsed on the jet bridge. When I woke up, I was in a hospital. My childhood best friend, Alex, was sitting next to me, taking my temperature. What are you doing here? I asked, rubbing my temples. You think I want to be? Alex sneered. The airport staff went down your recent calls list, and I was the only one who picked up. I was quiet for a moment before thanking him. Thanks, man. Alex held up my boarding pass, his tone dripping with sarcasm. TSK, flying over 50 hours straight to Vancouver during the holidays. Chris, you really are head over heels for Billy. Looks like your little boyfriend doesn't appreciate it much, though. Alex's words were always sharp, but I was so exhausted mentally and physically that I had no energy to argue. I cut him off. We broke up. Of course, the one who's loved always has the upper hand. Wait, what did you say? You broke up? Alex's eyes went wide in disbelief. I sighed and nodded. He dumped you? Alex raised an eyebrow. I nodded, then shook my head. What does that mean? Who broke up with whom? He pressed. I'm the one who ended it. The moment I said it, I could have sworn I saw a faint smile on Alex's face. He never liked Billy, but for my childhood friend, he wasn't even trying to hide his glee. I weakly punched his arm. I just went through a breakup. The least you could do is comfort me a little. How do you want me to comfort you? A shoulder to cry on? Alex dramatically pulled me into a hug. I couldn't help but punch him again. Forget it. Just go get me something to eat. Why eat out? Now that you're awake, we're going home. I'm in a good mood today, so I'll be your personal chef. Alex drove me home. He settled me on the couch, tossed me a blanket, and then expertly made his way into the kitchen. This was the apartment I bought when I was 18, with the first real money I made playing the futures market with cash my dad gave me. Since it was close to campus, Alex was always crashing here. Eventually, I just gave him his own room. Alex's family owned a bunch of restaurants in Shanghai, but what he loved most was cooking himself. So I was always happy to have him stay. But after I got together with Billy, Alex never came over again. Now, watching his familiar figure bustling in the kitchen, it felt like a lifetime had passed. A couple of minutes later, Alex came out with a bowl of noodles topped with a fried egg. Couldn't really find any ingredients. This will have to do for tonight. I'll have someone deliver some groceries tomorrow and make you some porridge. Seeing him acting like he was planning to move in, I raised an eyebrow. He replied as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. It's too late to go home now. My old man will just start nagging me. It's better if I crash here for the night. I can take care of you, too. I nodded. Okay. Your room's always been here for you anyway. Alex's eyes lit up. He happily went to his room and changed into an old set of loungewear. I went to my room to rest. The scent of Terra de Hermes still lingered in the sheets. It was Billy's favorite cologne. He used to spray it on the bedding, in the closet, on the curtains. I remember teasing him about using cologne as an air freshener. He'd replied domineeringly, I want this scent to take over your space, so every time you smell it, you think of me. Later, as he grew colder toward me, he forgot to spray it anymore. But I had grown to love the scent, so I started spraying it myself. The scent was just like Billy. It had stormed into my life, completely captured my heart, and then slowly faded away. I was scrolling through my phone before bed when a post popped up on my feed. Can all you lovely people pause for a second and congratulate me? I got with my crush today. The picture was a mirror selfie of Billy and the girl. Billy was looking down, appearing a bit cool and distant. The girl was making a peace sign, her smile radiant. The comments were all about what a perfect couple they made. OMG, you actually landed that smoke show. You're a legend, girl. You two should be models. The cool, aloof guy and the bright, sunny it girl. I'm shipping this so hard. I always knew Billy was handsome. The kind of handsome that would stand out in a crowd even in cheap, poorly made clothes. Time had smoothed away his youthful edges. The comfortable lifestyle I provided over the years had added an air of sophistication. Now he really did look like a cool, noble prince. I scrolled down further. The girl was replying to comments. He's not just handsome, he's a super genius. The high-frequency trading model he whipped up showed a 50% profit in simulations this year. Even the professor collaborating with our company said he's a genius. Her proud, sweet tone left a sour taste in my mouth. It was easy to fall for Billy. Few people could resist someone so good-looking and intelligent. His humble background only added to his charm. It made him seem like the perfect tragic hero from a movie. When someone like that pursues you with such fierce determination, it's hard to stay level-headed and not fall completely. Although I helped him a lot over the years, the fact that he became a key player in his company at such a young age, even being sent to head the Canadian branch, was a testament to his own hard work and diligence. When he turned 20, I gave him a watch. His eyes lit up as he told me, Chris, just wait for me. It won't be long. I'm gonna make lots and lots of money and buy you more expensive, better gifts. I never doubted him. I just never imagined he would achieve it in only 5 years. It's just a shame that the little tree I nurtured with my own hands is now blooming for someone else. The first thing I did after my fever broke was contact my lawyer. We had some joint equity investments that needed to be divided. Also, my apartment on the riverfront, he had paid for the renovation and furniture. We had planned to move in there together. Now, it seemed unlikely he would ever live there. I planned to pay him back double the renovation cost, since he'd put so much effort into it. Alex said he wasn't busy lately and insisted on sitting next to me, helping me review the agreement. After a while, he pursed his lips. You're giving him way too much. Are you still not over him? I shook my head. Giving more now saves us from haggling over the amount later. It reduces any unnecessary meetings. When Alex heard that, he perked up for some reason. He nodded vigorously. You're right. Let's make it a clean break. Then, as if presenting a treasure, he held out the milk tart in his hand. A replica of that super trendy tart that's all over the internet. Fresh out of the oven. My mind was on the agreement, so I took a bite right from his hand. I didn't even notice that he ate the other half. By the time I finished confirming the agreement with the lawyer, it was late. I went to take a shower before bed. But I thought I heard someone talking in the living room. Drying my hair, I walked out. Alex, who are you talking to so late at? My words trailed off when I saw Billy standing at the door, dressed in a wool coat, looking like he'd just traveled a long way. Billy's expression was dark. To make matters worse, Alex was adding fuel to the fire. He leaned casually against the kitchen island with a glass of water, raising an eyebrow at me. Chris, Looks like your ex-boyfriend wants to talk to you? He put extra emphasis on the words ex-boyfriend. I could see the veins popping on the back of Billy's hand. He strode toward me, but Alex sidestepped and blocked his path. Billy squeezed 2 words through his teeth. Move. Alex replied nonchalantly, kid, 1 more step and I'll have you charged with trespassing. Alex might seem like a goofball, but he has a 9th-degree black belt in Taekwondo. Billy's gaze shot past Alex's shoulder and landed on me, cold as ice. So, this is why you broke up with me? I was confused. Why was Billy acting like he was here to confront me? I thought he'd be happy to never see me again. Why would he fly all the way back? Did something happen over there? Thinking of this, I asked him, why are you back? The moment the words left my mouth, I realized they sounded wrong. It sounded like Alex and I had something going on, and he had just caught us in the act. Sure enough, Billy sneered. If I didn't come back, how would I have caught you 2 red-handed? No wonder you were in such a hurry to break up. You already had someone new lined up. I sighed and patted Alex's shoulder. Alex, step aside for a minute. I need to talk to him. Alex glanced at Billy, then walked over and draped the blanket from the couch over my shoulders. Put this on. You're still not over your cold. With that, he put on his headphones and went back to his room. I poured a glass of hot water for Billy. See, Billy sat on the sofa opposite me. We were silent for a long time. Neither of us spoke first. Finally, I couldn't stand it anymore. Billy, you came back so suddenly. Did something happen in Canada? Billy shot back, what, were you hoping something bad happened to me? I sighed and stood up. If you're gonna talk to me with this attitude, then we can talk another day. No other day. Billy grabbed my wrist. His hand was burning hot, searing my skin. We're talking now. Let's talk about when you started hooking up with him. Have you slept together? In the bedroom or on this couch? Smack. I slapped him across the face. I have a lot of patience, but I couldn't stand his vile accusations any longer. Besides, he was the one who cheated. What right did he have to turn this around on me? The slap turned his head to the side. He licked the inside of his cheek, a furious smile spreading across his face. Chris, if you still have the strength to hit me, it must mean Alex isn't much of a man. When you were with me, you could barely get out of bed. Billy's words got filthier and filthier. My hands were shaking with rage. Enough. Billy, there's nothing going on between me and Alex. I can say with a clear conscience that I was nothing but good to you in this relationship. But you? Can you honestly say you did right by me? Billy froze for a second, then quickly retorted. Wasn't I good enough to you? I started dating you when I was 20. I gave you emotional support. I was there for you whenever you needed me. I did whatever you wanted. My studies, my career, I followed the path you laid out for me. You throw a tantrum and I fly back from Canada. What more do you want from me? Billy was very clever. He framed his calculated pursuit of me as providing emotional support. He framed all the effort I put into helping him, planning his education and career, as him being obedient. He framed his own cold shoulder as me throwing a tantrum. He twisted everything, downplayed his own actions, and turned black into white. If I hadn't seen his social media post, if I really was just throwing a tantrum, I might have actually been convinced by him, might have even felt sorry for him for flying all this way just to appease me. But the snow in Vancouver that day was so heavy. I stood there, chilled to the bone. 2 voices were fighting in my head. One said, just wait a little longer. The other said, let it go. I looked at our text messages. A long stream of blue bubbles sent by me. The last one was still sitting there. Text me when you're home. I'm worried your fever got worse and there's no one there to take care of you. But I never got a reply. That's why I was so worried I booked a flight that night. Flew thousands of miles just to make sure he was okay. When I got to his building, a warm, yellow light was glowing from his window. The first hour I stood in the snow. I told myself that if he just answered my call, I'd pretend I knew nothing. But he declined my call and told me he was busy. The second hour I stood in the snow. I told myself that if he just called me back when he was done, I'd tell him I was waiting downstairs. The third hour I stood in the snow. I told myself I should be the one to initiate a talk to try and save us. And then I saw the girl in the black jacket. The 4th hour I stood in the snow. My hands and feet grew numb from the cold. The fiery love that once filled my chest slowly froze into ice. A gentle tap, and it would shatter into a million pieces. And so, I told myself, let it go. Make it a clean break. I just never expected Billy to turn it all around on me. He actually had the nerve to ask, "What more do you want from me?" I looked at the aggressive man in front of me. I wanted to ask him the same thing. What more did he want from me? After a long pause, I sighed and lowered my gaze. "Billy, I saw the post." "What Billy stopped mid-sentence. The color drained from his face. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. I gave a self-deprecating smile and finished what I'd meant to say that day on the phone. "Billy, we were together for 7 years. I know you far better than you think. You thought you were hiding your impatience so well, but a lover's heart is the most sensitive thing in the world. Sometimes I wonder, how did the algorithm manage to push your alt account to me? It didn't even give me a chance to fool myself. Do you know what hurt the most about that post? It wasn't that you fell for someone else. It was that you thought if you broke up with me, I would retaliate. You really don't know me at all. Billy, while it's true I helped you over the years, you shouldn't sell yourself short. You're such a brilliant person. That's why I noticed you in that crowd all those years ago. Even without my help, you would have shone just as brightly. Even if you weren't my lover, I would still admire you and be willing to mentor you. The day I told you we were breaking up, I was actually right downstairs. I stood there for 4 hours, just looking at the light in your window. For those 4 hours, all I could think about were the good times we had. I believe you put your heart into this relationship, too. So, I never thought of retaliating against you, and I never would. I saw the girl. She seems very sweet. I hope you treat her well. Thank you for the past 7 years. I wish you everything you ever wanted in the future." Billy listened to me, silent for a long time. Then he took a deep breath and spoke, trying to sound casual. "Okay, it's good we cleared the air. I guess I was overthinking things. I didn't realize you'd be so reasonable. Then I guess I should thank you for taking care of me all these years. In the future," for some reason, I could hear a slight tremor in his voice. "In the future, can we still be friends?" I shook my head, my rejection gentle but firm. "Why not?" Billy asked. "Didn't you just say you don't resent me?" I said softly, "Billy, if you've really loved someone, you can't be friends. It's late and I don't have a spare room, so I won't keep you." Billy's figure looked a bit lost as he left. He even nearly tripped over the small stool by the door on his way out. Just as the door was slowly closing, Billy suddenly turned and looked at me. Maybe I was mistaken, but his eyes were red. I closed the door and turned around, almost bumping right into Alex. "Alex, what the hell?" Alex grunted. "Just seeing how long you were going to stare after him." I kicked his shin. "Say one more stupid thing and you can get out, too." Alex scurried into the kitchen and pulled a lemon cheesecake out of the fridge. "Try this. Made it this afternoon. I stole the recipe from a Michelin-starred chef at one of my family's restaurants." I glanced at the time. 11 p.m. "You want me to eat sweets at this hour?" I asked, my eyes wide. Alex clicked his tongue. "What, are you a grown man who's afraid of getting fat?" He looked me up and down. "If you ask me, you could stand to gain a few pounds. It's not about getting fat. It's about my cholesterol. It's fine, just have a little. Sweets help produce dopamine," Alex insisted, forcing the spoon into my hand. "From the look on your face just now, I thought you were about to cry." This idiot. I hadn't been planning to cry, but his clumsy attempt at cheering me up made my nose tingle. I fiercely scooped up a spoonful of cheesecake and shoved it in my mouth. Alex watched me with a grin. "Is it good?" I gave him a look. "You didn't even try it yourself? You're using me as a taste tester?" "It's not called being a taste tester. It's called having confidence in my skills." I wanted to insult him, but the cake was actually really good. And with Alex here joking around, I guess I didn't feel quite so sad anymore. I nodded. "Yeah, it's really good." "Really?" Alex raised an eyebrow. "Let me try." With that, he took my wrist and, using my spoon, ate a bite. "Hold on. Dude, You straight guys really have no consideration for how we gay guys feel, do you? If I hadn't known you my whole life, I'd almost think you were trying to get an indirect kiss. My lawyer couldn't get a hold of Billy, so the money I wanted to give him remained unsent. I stopped worrying about it. I had done all I could. I never expected to see an update to that social media post. At first, Billy pinned a comment under the original post. Update, we broke up. Can't believe how easy it was. I put my head in my hands and sighed. That gloating little tone of his was just asking for people to hate him. I watched as he argued with people in the comments, one by one, like a child. It was as if he was desperate to prove that leaving me was the right decision. The post got more and more popular, and more people saw it. Someone even tentatively forwarded it to me, saying, "Oh well, this sounds a lot like your situation." I shook my head with a sigh. It was like Billy had been possessed. Where had all his usual intelligence and rationality gone? Worried he might get doxxed, I decided to text him. "You should delete that post." Billy replied almost instantly. "I don't need you to tell me what to do." Looking at that exclamation point, I saw a flash of the 20-something Billy who loved to argue with me. Only this time, who was he fighting with? Before I could figure it out, Alex came out of the kitchen with a pot of clay pot rice. "Quick, quick, get me a hot pad." I scrambled over to the dining table and set one down for him. Alex lifted the lid, and steam billowed out. Bright red sausages lay on top of glistening white rice. Bits of green vegetables were scattered throughout. Alex calmly poured a specially mixed sauce over it. He tossed it, mixed it, then served me a bowl. He smiled. "Dinner's ready." In the time since my breakup with Billy, Alex had been feeding me a different fancy meal every day. He'd actually managed to make me gain 7 pounds. I asked him between bites, "Aren't you busy lately? You've been here all the time. What, am I not useful anymore, so you're kicking me out?" Alex paused, chopsticks in hand, and looked at me. "Don't be ridiculous. I'm just concerned about you. I don't want to get in the way of your work. I know you're worried about me, but I'm really fine now." Alex slowly chewed on a piece of crispy rice, his eyes downcast. "My dad's been handling the restaurant inspections lately. My main focus is the new location near the downtown IFC tower. Your place is close to the tower, so it's convenient for me to stay here. I might have to impose on you for a while longer." "Alex, please, don't use the word impose. Stay as long as you want." "Seriously?" Alex looked up. "Oh, so I can stay for a lifetime? Here we go again." Alex was a great guy in every way, but every so often, his spoiled rich kid side would come out, and he'd feel the need to test our friendship. Like when I once introduced him to Billy as my best friend. Alex shot back, "So if your best friend and your boyfriend have a fight, whose side do you take?" "Me." "You'd side with whoever is right?" Alex sneered. "Wrong answer. A real best friend would never put you in that position in the first place. Your answer proves you don't know me and you don't trust me." I thought he was joking and punched his arm. "Stop reading so many cheesy novels. Look at that melodramatic look on your face." Who knew he'd actually get mad? I had to give him a bottle of my prized whiskey to calm him down. So this time I answered quickly. "No problem. As long as your future wife is okay with it, I'd be thrilled. With your cooking skills, I'd even be willing to pay to be your roommate." Alex was clearly pleased. "Deal. Don't you forget what you said today." A few days later, our European branch landed a huge project, and I was sent to help out for 2 months. It was so rushed that I didn't have time to tell Alex in person. I just sent him a text saying I was on a business trip to Paris. On my 3rd day in Europe, I got a call from him. "I'm at Charles de Gaulle Airport right now. What's your address? I'll get a cab." "Me? Wait there, I'll come get you." After getting Alex settled in the car, I asked him, "What are you doing in Paris?" "My dad wants to open a French restaurant, so I'm here to do some research." I was silent for a moment, then asked, "Where's your hotel?" Alex said, "I haven't booked one yet." "Is your place big enough? Maybe I can just crash with you." I pulled the car over to the side of the road. Alex looked out the window. "Isn't this a museum? You live here?" I snorted. "Stop pretending." Alex swallowed. "What do you mean?" I had a ridiculous theory, one that seemed impossible. But my gut told me I was right. I decided to just ask him directly. You like me, don't you? Otherwise, I couldn't explain why he'd been crashing at my place for a month, watching over me every day, cooking for me, and now following me all the way to Paris. Even for best friends, this was too much. Alex froze for a second, then nodded as if a huge weight had been lifted. I was trying to figure out how to tell you. Since you've figured it out, I won't hide it anymore. That's right. I'm pursuing you. Now it was my turn to be stunned. But I thought you were straight? I had a crush on Alex back in high school. After I realized I was gay, I tried to subtly feel him out. One evening, walking home together after playing basketball, I tried to start a casual conversation. Did you see that trending topic yesterday? What topic? The one about whether that famous composer and the pianist are together. No way, they're both guys. So, guys can't be with other guys? I mean, it's not that they can't, it's just, I've never really thought about it. Why are you asking? Don't tell me. No, don't overthink it. I just saw it and was curious. Oh good. You scared me for a second there. The setting sun stretched Alex's shadow long across the pavement. I thought, if even my best friend can't accept it, then I should probably bury this secret deep inside me forever. It wasn't until I met Billy. He saw right through me and pursued me passionately. He said there was no right or wrong in love. If there was only one orientation in the world, it would be the direction of your heart. So I shouldn't be ashamed of who I was. With his encouragement, I slowly came to accept myself. I remember gathering the courage to tell Alex that I was with Billy. The shock on his face was palpable. You never said you liked guys before? I rubbed my nose. Well, I was afraid you wouldn't be able to accept it. But you've asked me to go see queer films with you a few times in the last couple of years. Things are a lot better now. I felt like your perspective might have changed, so I decided to be honest with you. He stammered. Are you really sure about this? That kid. What's so good about him? Back then, I replied, because of him, I was able to bravely face who I am. Alex seemed disappointed at the time. I thought it was because his best friend had a partner now, and he was afraid he'd be pushed out of my life. And it was true. Once I had Billy, Alex and I spent less time together. We still met up regularly, but it wasn't the same as before, when we were always in each other's pockets. I had always assumed Alex was straight, but now I had a wild theory. He might have already had feelings for me back then. Alex quickly confirmed my suspicion. He gave a bitter smile. When did I ever say I was straight? In high school, I asked what you thought about that musician couple. Back then, all I cared about was studying. I hadn't figured anything out yet. Alex answered through gritted teeth. And didn't I invite you to see a queer film later on? What straight guy asks his friend to go see a queer film? I was taken aback, but retorted just as fiercely. You said they were free tickets. I thought you just didn't want to waste a free ticket. Alex looked like he was about to have an aneurysm. And what about in college, when I was always crashing at your place, attached at your hip? You didn't suspect anything then? I thought you were straight back then, so I never even let my mind go there. Then why didn't you tell me at the time? Alex said I was planning to. I was afraid a simple confession would seem too casual, so I was preparing something a little more special. But before I could, you got together with Billy. After he said that, we both fell silent. After a moment, Alex asked cautiously, so now, what are you thinking? I sighed. I'm sorry, I don't think I can. Not right now. Stop. Hold it right there. Alex said. How about this? You just pretend you don't know, and we'll go back to how things were before. Okay. I shook my head. That's not fair to you. Alex said, who cares? What if I'm happy with that? I couldn't do that. Alex was the only person, the closest person, I had in this world. I didn't want to hurt him, and I didn't want to lead him on. So until I had figured things out completely, I didn't want to give him too much hope. In the end, Alex couldn't change my mind. He flew back home the next day. Before he left, he asked sheepishly, can I still stay at your place? My family's house is too far from the new downtown location. I really hate waking up early. It was rare to see him play the victim like this. Even though I knew it was an excuse, I couldn't help but agree. Overseas, I threw myself completely into my work. When you're busy, all that drama about love and relationships starts to seem less important. The next time I heard about Billy was when a friend forwarded me a PDF. Chris, looks like someone reported Billy to your company. I opened the PDF and saw it was written by the girl in the black puffer jacket. She started by accusing Billy of being a gay man pretending to be straight to deceive her. I thought the main point would be about how he deceived her, what kind of damages she suffered, and what she wanted as a resolution. But instead, the rest of the document was filled with screenshots of my chat history with Billy, along with various photos of us. The more I read, the stranger it felt. On the surface, the girl seemed to be calling Billy out, but she was actually writing about the history of my relationship with him. She even ended with the line, "Anyway, we only dated for 3 days. He didn't scam me out of money or anything, and I even got a Kelly bag out of it. I just hope he can figure out his own feelings and stop hurting other people." I checked the online chatter, and public opinion was almost unanimously on my side. What was even weirder was that Billy was using his main account to argue with people online. He was listing all the good things he had done for me, saying that even though his motives weren't pure, he had never wronged me and that people had no right to judge him. One popular reply said, "I feel for his 7 years, and your words are still trying so hard to prove you love him." I felt like this was all getting stranger and stranger, so I found the girl's account on social media and sent her a DM. She added me as a friend right away. The first thing she said to me was, "I didn't write that PDF." From the girl, I heard a different version of the story. She said Billy was her crush. After she had pursued him for a month, he agreed to try dating her. But on their 3rd day together, Billy confessed his sexuality to her. The girl said she was shocked at the time, but thankfully, her feelings for him weren't that deep. It was more like admiration. She actually found him kind of boring to date. He was either reading research reports or writing code. Plus, Billy gave her a Hermes bag when they broke up, so she let it go. They had parted on good terms. But half a month later, Billy suddenly asked her to spread a PDF in her name. The girl said, "I get what he's trying to do. He's using this extreme method to show the world the love between you two, and he's trying to win you back with it. That's why the PDF reads so strangely. It's almost like a memoir of your relationship, and the parts about you are almost all positive. By letting himself get dragged by netizens, he feels like he's atoning for his sins while also trying to get your sympathy. Of course, I don't really get all the dramatic love lives of you gay guys, but I think he probably underestimated his feelings for you. If you can, I think you should talk to him. The PDF situation was really bothering me. I don't like my private life being aired out online for people to comment on." Just as I was about to contact Billy to talk, he called me. He said, "I'm in Paris. I want to see you." It had only been a little over a month since I'd last seen Billy, but when we met at a corner cafe, I almost didn't recognize him. He had lost a lot of weight, and there were dark circles under his eyes. He was swallowed by his trench coat, looking frail and empty. I ordered him a hot chocolate with an extra pump of syrup. Billy sat silently across from me, so still he could have been a statue. I asked him, "Did you ask me here just to stare out the window?" Billy kept his eyes down, his fingers tapping lightly on his cup. It was a nervous habit of his. Since he wouldn't speak, I had to start. "Have you seen the agreement my lawyer drafted? If there are no issues, please sign it as soon as possible." Billy probably wasn't expecting me to bring that up first. He said, "I don't need the money. You don't have to give it to me." I nodded. "That's fine. I'll have him draft a new one where you gift me the renovation costs. But we still need to separate the equity clearly." Billy asked quietly, "Do we have to be so clear-cut about everything?" I countered, "Isn't this what you wanted? A clean break with no strings attached." Billy suddenly covered his eyes. "Chris, if I said I regret it, could you forgive me? Is that why you spread that PDF? Trying to dissect your feelings for me in front of the whole world?" Billy's face went pale. "You know about that?" I smiled knowingly. "We were together for 7 years, after all." "But Billy, you were with me for 7 years, and you still don't know me. When I make a decision, I don't go back on it. So, delete the post, delete the account, and end this whole circus." Billy suddenly spoke up. Chris, since you sat down, you haven't once asked me how I've been. I raised an eyebrow. Isn't it obvious? Whether you're full of regret, or remorse, or wasting away over this, that's your business. If you care at all about what I think of you, then please stay out of my world. Stop bothering me. Tears rolled silently down Billy's face, one by one, like a quiet rain. His eyes were red, pleading, as he looked at me. His voice choked. Can't you just give me one more chance? I asked him calmly, can you turn back time to the moment before I saw that post? Billy finally buried his face in his hands, and there, in the bustling corner cafe, he began to sob uncontrollably. When I flew back to Shanghai from Paris, I was running a fever again. Luckily, I was still conscious this time. I dragged my sick body into a cab home, ordering some fever medicine on the way. 2 hours later, I opened my front door. A warm yellow light spilled out. On the table was a steaming clay pot of porridge and a few small side dishes. Alex expertly took my luggage. I saw the medicine delivery. Figured you wouldn't have much of an appetite, so I quickly made you some simple porridge. Alex led me to the table and pushed the perfectly warm bowl of porridge in front of me. He pointed to the small plates of pickled vegetables. Try these. I just made them. I silently lowered my head, took a spoonful of porridge, and then a bite of the pickles. Suddenly, my eyes stung. How could you? Are you asking why my pickles taste just like Grandma's? She's the one who taught me. The grandma Alex was talking about was my grandma. When Alex was a kid, his parents were busy making money and left him with his grandparents. His grandfather lived right next door to my grandma. His grandpa was a terrible cook, so Alex was always over at my place for meals. Eventually, Alex's dad just gave my grandma some money to cook for him too. So for a long time, Alex and I ate all our meals together. And our favorite thing was Grandma's pickles. Later, my grandma got sick. Alex and I went to see her. She had Alzheimer's by then and didn't recognize people very well. She asked me, have you seen Chris and Alex? I made a new batch of mustard greens and kohlrabi. Chris has been skinny since he was a boy. He won't eat properly without pickles. If you see him, tell him to come home early. Alex too. Once he starts playing, he forgets to come home. Then she muttered to herself, if this old lady passes, who will make the pickles? What if Chris doesn't eat properly? I was on the verge of tears. Alex comforted me while taking my grandma's hand. That's easy, Grandma. Just teach me your secret recipe. I'll make sure Chris eats well from now on. I thought he was just saying it to comfort an old woman, but I never knew he actually went and learned. Alex boasted proudly, not only did I learn, I also brought her pickling jar back with me. I've been taking care of the brine all this time. Maybe it's because being sick makes you sentimental. Or maybe I just missed my grandma. Whatever it was, my eyes suddenly welled up. Alex started pacing anxiously. Hey, why are you crying? Are you not feeling well? Is the food bad? Oh, do you miss your grandma? Hey, after you take your medicine, get some sleep. If your fever's gone tomorrow, I'll go with you to visit her grave. Don't cry, it's all my fault. I was so focused on showing off that I forgot how close you two were. How about you don't eat this? I can make you something else. Watching Alex panic, I suddenly found it a little funny. What is love? Love is just 3 meals a day, 4 seasons a year. I've had few close family ties in my life. In my 32 years, people have come and gone. In the end, only Alex remained. Alex had already stood up, ready to go to the kitchen to whip something else up. I grabbed his hand. Alex, what if we gave this a try? Alex didn't get it at first. Try what? Then his eyes suddenly lit up. Are you saying? I looked at his adorably goofy face and nodded. I'm saying you're such a good cook. I'd like to try dating you. Alex blushed. My mom was right. A man who can cook will always find a partner. He rubbed his hands together and paced around the room. If you weren't sick right now, I'd cook you a 10-course feast. I chuckled. A feast isn't necessary. You haven't eaten yet. Have you? Sit down and eat with me. Alex sat down with a grin, his eyes never leaving my face. As familiar as we were, His stare was making me a little nervous. I tapped the table. Aren't you hungry? Alex shook his head. You're a feast for the eyes. I rolled my eyes at him. I'm sick. Don't even think about taking advantage of me. Alex quickly waved his hands. What are you thinking? I'm not a monster. After eating and taking my medicine, I got into bed. Alex tucked me in but lingered by the bed. I had to open my eyes. Now what? Alex said, a little embarrassed, I just want to look at you. I smiled. You've been looking at me for over 20 years. Haven't you had enough? Alex shook his head. A lifetime wouldn't be enough. Then, he suddenly leaned down and kissed my forehead. I suddenly remembered a long ago afternoon. The fan in the classroom whirred overhead, and the cicadas outside chirped louder and louder. Alex was sleeping, slumped over his desk. Sunlight streamed onto his face. I pretended to casually turn my head, and secretly planted a kiss in his hair. That dream, lost in my youth. I never thought it would see the light of day again. To find what was lost, it made everything feel complete.